Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I've been looking forward to this conversation. Ayal is now the fourth conversation I've had with franchisees of each of the different brands. Some context and some background. I actually went to all the brand presidents and said, "Hey, I'd like to have some of your top performers join me in a conversation to talk about their story, how they got into business, how their business is doing, what's working, what's not working." And Stefan, who's our brand president, Packouts, recommended that Ayal join us today. We had a great conversation just backstage. We're going to jump into all kinds of things together here. But the goal and the purpose of these conversations is to help owners of businesses, franchisors, brand presidents, team members to really learn from what's really driving the success of our owners and their businesses, how we can learn from them and understand how we can help support them better in some cases as well. So as a reminder, we have our Home Services Summit coming up roughly a month from now. It's November 6th through 10th. If you have not registered yet, please register. We'd love to see you in person. All the best learning comes from taking time with fellow entrepreneurs and business owners in person. And so I think we already have just over 600 franchisees registered or people registered with, in some cases, partners coming to the event this November. As well as a lot of sponsors who are great partners in our business you can get to know. And we've got some great speakers as well. In fact, one speaker who I'm really excited about hearing from is the Iron Cowboy. He's a person that has done over 100 Ironmen in 100 days, meaning he ran an Ironman every day for 100 days. And I don't know about you, but that is just the idea of doing one Ironman makes me cringe. And it's inspiring to just hear about the grit and what a person can accomplish when you put your mind to it. And so I hope that message is something that we can all enjoy and inspire us in our own businesses. So with that, let's jump right into the story of Ayal and how he got into the business. Ayal, thank you for joining us and being willing to take this hour with us. I'm really very, very excited and proud of your accomplishments. We were talking backstage of how well you've done your first year. You did just over $1.6 million in your first year of business, which is like phenomenal. You grew the business almost 30% in your second year. We were talking about the vision of your business, and now you're looking at involving some of your family members, and it's growing, it's successful. And so I'd love for you to, maybe if you don't mind, jump into this for us. Tell us, how did you hear about Packouts? What got you into the business?
Hey, Scott, thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here. As I told you earlier, I was in the middle of, between businesses. I sold my partnership in my previous business, and I was looking for the next thing. I almost purchased maybe 15 different businesses that I was looking into. I tried, from air conditioning to cash transportations to moving company to you name it, maybe a sandblasting business, all kind of things. But as soon as I lay my eyes on this opportunity on the packet, I knew right away this is perfect for me, and I just jumped on it, called whoever I need to call, right, jumped on the plane, went to see corporate, went to meet the other guys, went to visit other owners in Southern California, and I knew right away this is what I need to do because I'm going to be great at that, and I'm very happy.
Eyal, you said something that I think is important to remember for franchisors like myself, for team members in the team of 5-star franchising and at Packouts. Your journey started with really trying to find a business that could give you the freedom you wanted and the opportunity you wanted. And so you were looking at moving money in money trucks or moving people in moving vehicles or different concepts. And that is what when people join a brand of any of our brands, they're looking to this as an opportunity to help them give the freedom that they want, an opportunity that they're looking for in a business that makes sense. And for you, Packouts resonated. What was it about Packouts that drew you to it, that made it fit for you personally?
Well, I have a background, for me it was easy because I had a background in moving and storage business, and I knew that the opportunity of working with people, which I like, and it's interesting for me, a combination of income from storage, income from transportation slash moving, but then the niche of working with packouts, and the meaning is content and insurance work for people that have disasters in their homes. That would be a combination that I'm really good with people. I know how to manage a business, and I like this type of business. So for me, it was a combination of ability to do better for myself and my family while doing something that I like and I enjoy. So it was like a no-brainer.
There's some similarities between moving and storage, which is your prior business, and packouts, right? You're just moving people's, maybe for everyone that's listening, because not everyone knows exactly what packouts does. If you don't mind, just explain for us, what is packouts in the business of doing?
Right. So packouts would be whenever it's normally, the usual jobs are when people have disasters in their homes, such as water damage, mold, fires, and other specific. For example, right now we're working on a job that people had the older couple had burglary in their homes. They had, they left for a few hours, they came back, there was burglars in the home, ran away, and they completely trashed the home. Completely, they were looking for jewelry, money, whatever. Everything was destroyed, disarray, thrown on the ground. So our job in this case, we're being called either the public adjuster, the insurance adjuster, or just the contractor, the actual the clients themselves. We are called to come and put things back to normal. We need to separate. We need to make an inventory, take photos, pack everything, clean everything, store everything if needed, as needed, so the home can be restored and rebuilt, and then we bring everything back as the pack back, take back from the warehouse back to the home. So it's similar to moving, but in this case we are loading, packing, and taking from the original home to the warehouse, and then bring it back to the same home after repairs are completed.
So yeah, for our listeners, we call this the contents business, right? We're in the business of packing up people's belongings, moving, like you said, storing them in a facility, and then bring them back when the job's completed. So we don't do restoration. We're not the ones that actually do the work on the home. We're just making sure the contents of the home are protected while work is being done. If you don't mind, talk a little bit about, because you have a facility where all these things are. Do you own your own facility where you keep all the content stored, or do you rent a facility? What did you decide to do?
I have two facilities. I grew into a second one. I was very lucky during the course of the end of my first year. I got a call from one of the adjusters I was working with that another content company is shutting the doors and they need us to go and possibly pick up their items from their facility and bring it to our facility. So they say if I'm willing to go and take a look what's going on. And long story short, we ended up taking the whole warehouse, the whole second warehouse with the clients, with the accounts and everything, just doubled the business right away. So
Wow.
that's worked for me. So we own, we rent right now two buildings. My rent is very high, but I know how to store, bill, and collect money for storage. Storage is a very, very nice source of income if you know how to do that. That's part of the business.
Hmm.
And then if you are familiar and you're top of your game, then you can make it a profitable business as well. Not only the pack out and the cleaning, also the storage.
How many square feet of warehouse do you have right now where you're storing things?
First building 6,400, second building 25,000.
Wow. So you've got a lot of capacity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I think are familiar with storage businesses, and as many people call it, it's like mailbox money, right? Like these contents occupy a space in a protected environment that's locked or you know coded, and every month the insurance companies are paying you, or the customer in some cases. I'm assuming there's some private pay. They're paying you to have their items stored in that facility. Uh, how long, like on a typical job, how long will you, after you've taken out people's contents and put them in a facility, how long will you have people's contents before you bring them back on average?
There is from a week to a year or two. Mostly fire jobs will take longer, obviously, because Some fire jobs are only smoke damage, and that normally is to one of the jobs we're doing smoke damage. We have to remove everything, clean everything, deodorize or just treat everything and deem it as a total loss or repairable, and then clean everything, and then the house is being repaired and fixed as far as that, and then bring it back. But normally, when there's a fire damage, it can easily take a year and a half till the home is repaired. And in this case, we are enjoying the storage time. And if again, it's all a combination of doing a great, doing a great work, be able to actual store everything properly, bill it correctly, collect it correctly. If you have the right people and you know how to do it, how to to run all the aspects of your business, then at the end of the day, you can also have some profit also. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be nice to make some profit. Which I
yeah.
mean, we can talk about that a little later. Backstage, you were sharing with me some of the margins you've been able to achieve so far in the business, which has been phenomenal. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So we have a bit of a teaser for those who are watching right now. They probably want to hear exactly how the business is doing. But just diving a little bit more into how the business works. We mentioned that a lot of it's insurance based, right? Customers had a burglary, like you just mentioned, and you're in there taking pictures, documenting everything, putting them in boxes so everything comes back to the right place. Um, what percentage of your work is insurance versus private pay?
Oh, insurance is about at least 80%,
Yeah. Okay.
and then maybe 10 or 15%, maybe more, maybe 20%. I'm doing some moving for private pay clients because I have the reputation, I have the knowledge, and people who understand can also appreciate that we are working on a higher level versus just a regular moving company. So those people who knows me personally or knows the industry understand that they will get an insurance type work, an insurance, because the insurance company really demand a specific level of service.
Yeah.
They're not gonna accept people who doesn't dress properly. They're not gonna accept trucks are not properly cleaned or
Yep.
equipped or So my trucks are new and look amazing, and we clean them every day, almost every day, whenever. So the way we present ourselves, the way we approach the client, the way we show up, when I say 9 to 9:30, it's 9 to 9:30. It's not 12 or 11 or 10. It's on time. And if there's a huge disaster on the road or there's an accident or whatever, we right away we call the client with an ETA and update them, let them know we are really delayed because this and that, and but we'll be there right away. We'll make sure we take care of you. And sometimes you have to deal with people that are very stressed out or very angry or very concerned, and you have to know how to address that. So to back to your question, probably about 75 to 80% of my business is insurance work, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest is private packouts. If people don't have insurance or whatever, don't want to make a claim, whatever, and then some moving and storage.
You mentioned something I think is really important, and it's a reminder, I think, for everybody. If you operate in the home services industry, your storefront, right, is your vehicle, is your manager who shows up in a uniform and is clean clothes, clean cut. All of that is your storefront. And if
And
you
you
could
can you
imagine
can add
walking up to,
you can add attitude also.
yeah, exactly. And at McDonald's, I'll use that as an example. Can you imagine driving up to McDonald's and having the M being broken and you go into the
Exactly.
bathroom, it's a disaster. The tables aren't being kept. People are inside the restaurant and the workers aren't wearing a uniform. Like that just would never work in a brand. And
Absolutely.
in home services, these finer details, which you're mentioning, it creates the difference. It's what allows you to charge more for your service. People, a clean truck, a uniformed individual, attitude that they're taking care of the customer. All those things is what actually makes a company want to do business with you and trust you. And people do business
Absolutely.
with whom they like and trust. So it's a reminder for all of us in home services that keep our storefront pristine. That allows you to charge your services and acquire customers the right way. Um, what would you say? I want to ask. There's two questions I'm going to ask here, kind of side by side. One is, maybe talk to us about what you love about the Packouts contents business. And then in addition to that, go down with me a little bit on the things you hate. Like, what are the hardest parts of this business? Kind of the contrast of the things that you really enjoy and the things that are very, very challenging.
Well, to start from the second one, there's hardly anything that I hate. I love this business. I know how to do that. So you can say maybe sometimes you have to deal with a complete a-hole client, which is, but that's true to any business.
Mm,
Every business has the, if I can say that, on the potential, like a shit list of things that that you have to deal with.
yeah.
There's some issues, and I just know how to run this business. There's nothing I hate about it. Obviously, every day, as any work or any type of business, you have to get up, you have to get yourself together, you have to know your plan, you have to have your schedule, you have to make sure that everything is ready and everything is as you plan it the day before, and everything goes. And there's so many things that I love about this business. Just to give you an example, when you run a moving company, you have to have 5 trucks that will go to the go out and sometimes have to deal with clients that are trying to be very, very cheap and count every penny, and you have to really explain every minute or every roll of tape what you did, and each truck will come back at the end of the day with a average of $800 to $1,500, and then you have to make it and do the math and pay the salaries, the gas, the rent, the insurance, and everything else, and hope to have some profit. Where in this business, it's enough for me that I have 1 or 2 crews, and each crew usually working 2 to 5 days per claim, and they bring 20, 30,000. I'm looking in my right, I have my Excel sheet with all my jobs and all my list, and my average job in this business is 33,669. That's an average job. In moving, it's maybe 1,500 average job. You can do the math right away, and the profit is also the profit that you can do. I mean, it's way higher, but obviously there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 list that you have to know how to deal with the clients. You have to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that everything you mentioned is as it needs to be. You have to know how to deal with the insurance companies, with the collection, with the adjusters. You have to deal with your corporate um, trainers, or the coach and the accounting department. Make sure everything is paid on time, everything is correct, and it's a long list of things that you have to do. But I'm just I'm as happier as you can be from a business. And one thing
Yeah.
I'm telling to all candidates who always call me and ask me is that when you're working as an employee, you can always, the day that your employee or your partner, and this is my personal experience, will flip on you and will change his mind, and suddenly there's a fight, and suddenly you are fired, or you're out of the business, or something like that happen. Sometime in life, it happens at the wrong time for you. You can be 40 or 50 or 60, and sometimes you have to start from the beginning. And if someone is not happy from the way you perform or the way you work, he can let you go. Versus if it's your own business, it's all up to you. You
Yeah.
get up in the morning, you put a smile, you make sure that you take care of your employees, you take care of your clients, you take care of your storage, you take care of your equipment, and it's all up to you. You have nobody to blame but yourself. So
Yeah.
if do or die, it's all on you. And I
I,
love
I,
it.
I want to come back to a few things you said because and it reminds me of a story of I mentioned to you backstage, and my dad mentored me as a very young kid in business and got me going as an entrepreneur. And I remember when I was, I think, 13 or 14, typical teenager, not a great attitude, didn't want to listen to my parents. My dad came home one day and he had this gold pin, and the gold pin just said the word attitude. Mm. And he gave it to me and he put it in my chest. He said, "You wear that every day." And I said, okay, as a kid, it's gold. So I think it's valuable. It's kind of cool, I guess. Right. So he's like, you have to have a golden attitude. Attitude is everything. And you mentioned it. You're going to have tough customers. You're going to have hard discussions with employees. You're going to have someone that quits on you that won't show up to work one day. Right. Your truck might get in an accident on the way to a job. Things go wrong in life in general. Like, it's inevitable. You're going to be tested. The difference between a positive outcome is all around attitude. Do you have the view of challenging circumstances bringing you forward and helping you learn, or do you have the view of it's always woe is me and this is, life's really hard and very negative? What you feed, where you put your energy is what you build. And so if you want to build a negativity, you go negative. If you want to build positivity, you build positivity. And so the reminder of, even though it can be difficult, you can look at these hard customer experiences as opportunities to learn more and become better at your trade. And if you do that, it all comes back to you. And so I think that's a great reminder. You also mentioned on what you love about the business and this unique attributes is this is a higher margin business, right? Like maybe if you don't mind, just share with our listeners an idea of like what are net margins in the packouts business for you?
For me, it's just around 40% net margins. And again, this is something that you have to know how to create that. And I just have the experience, but obviously this is something that you can learn. And that's, again, it's an opportunity. When everybody know, when I'm recommending people to go in a franchise business, for example, you have several opportunities and several advantages that work for you. One of them is know how to resolve issues, how to solve problems, how to do things to make the business better for you. And you get a lot of recommendations, a lot of assistance from the corporate or from other owners. Obviously, there is a fee. You have to pay a fee, and you have to pay. There's a cost to that. But this cost, if you define this cost as your education and your support and your assistance, every time you need it, you get benefits with specific financing, specific discounts on an equipment or car and truck rentals or whatever thing that you need to buy. So there's a lot of advantages. Plus, with me, it's natural, but if I look back at my business years, there was times that not everything was nice and clean, and not everything was on time. Because sometimes you lack, or you lay back, or you don't really pay attention. And when you are in a structure or a franchise, it helps you to keep yourself within the guidelines that you put yourself in. And for me, it's a plus plus, and everything is the up and up. So that's that. And obviously, everything you do every day and every year, every month, when you set up your goals, when you set up the plan for the next day or the next week, you create your own reality by the actions and by your attitude. This is what I mentioned earlier. And then things can go wrong or things can go right. And most of it is up to you to determine.
You also mentioned something I want to hit on again, which is I think this is a reminder to me and to hopefully our whole organization. When a franchisee buys a business, they're looking for education, training to help them achieve better results and avoid pitfalls in the business, right?
Right.
So for the franchisee, the responsibility is to make sure that they pay the tuition. You paid the money to buy the business. Take advantage of all of the value that can be derived from that training that comes from owning a franchise. On the other side of that equation is, as a franchisor, people are giving us money. We need to provide value. Make sure the education is worthy of the fee that's being charged, right? There's two sides of that equation, I think, that are reminders for me. Maybe if you don't mind, let's dive into a little bit about how, because you've been in business now for 2 years. So it's only been a couple of years for you. How did you, tell me your journey of growing your business. Like you bought the business, you went to training, you learned, what was the first phone call? What was the first job you got? How did you kind of get it going?
So the way I understand, each person that come into any business needs to use the tools that he have. And what I had is my experience, my connections. Obviously, I'm not as young as I used to be, but those years gave me a lot of connections, a lot of networking with people from all sorts of businesses. So I reach out to my 30-year-old ago partner in my first moving company. Is now a big public adjuster in LA. And I reached out to him and said, hey, I hope I just open one of the pack outs. This is what I'm going to do. And you know me. You know that I keep my word. You know that I'm an ex-military. So time is a time. And you know me that everything is whatever I say, I do. Please give me a chance. I know that you probably work with a few pack outs or content companies. Give me a chance. And he did. And now he's one of my biggest accounts. So
Oh,
you
wow.
reach out to people that you know, or you think, even if you're coming from, sometimes when I have talks with new candidates, I tell them, listen, you think around, what can you do? Who do you know that can give you a first chance? A first chance will always lead to a second chance, and a second to a fourth. And I'm saying fourth because you double. Usually, you can double your success and you double your connections. And all of them at the beginning will be concerned and will be afraid. They give you a chance. You just started. Maybe you have no idea what you're doing. Maybe you create a disaster. Who knows? But you take 3 months to pound it and to call and to send emails and to create a great whatever you can do for yourself. You can use if you have military, use your military. It's really give you a big good background of timing, time management, and respect and other things. And if you're very good in people know that what you used to do before, you use your advantages with your knowledge and your connections to get the first account, the second account. You set yourself a very good, nice resume, and maybe a good LinkedIn account with a nice photo of yourself, and you spread, you write down what you can do, what you're willing to do. You promise that you always be there, and most importantly, you keep your promises, and you follow through. And
Yep.
that's usually you have to grind and grind. First month, second month. It took me 3 months to get my first job and 6 months or maybe 5 months to get my first check, and then didn't stop from there.
Mike, there's so much gold in this conversation. And I want to just, I want to repeat these things because they're so important. Your network is your net worth.
Right.
Your network is your net worth. The value you create in this life comes from relationships, right? Doing what you said you're going to do, people see that and they want to do business with people they know and trust. So it's a reminder, no matter what the business you're in, what franchise you offer, whether you're a franchisor or a franchisee, the first thing you should be doing is going through your entire network, all the people you know in every community you are involved in that have come to know who you are, and reaching out to let them all know you're in this business. And you're right. And somebody in amongst all those relationships could be that first customer, like you just
Exactly.
mentioned, that has helped you grow your business. The other thing that I think was really important that you said is starting a business. I love entrepreneurship because, rise and grind. This is a business that you get up and you work hard in. It is not easy. Just when you just said earlier, when we started, you said your first year you did 1.6 million. You grew by 30% the next year. It's so easy to skip past your first 3 to 5 months of your business, which was hard, I'm imagining, because you went 3 months without getting paid a dime. You went 5 months without getting one check. It took 5 months until you got your first check. And it took 3 months till you got your first job. But here you are sitting here talking about owning a business that's doing, close to $2 million in revenue and is a net profit of 40%. And it's been 2 years. And it'd be so easy just to diminish that and say, well, that just was easy. He got lucky. No, you did that in your first 5 months. That time where you put the effort and energy into to build something that can be special one day. And so I hope all of our listeners hear that advice. You've got a network, use that network, make it work for you. And the reality is in networking, it does multiply, right? You meet one person that gets the next person, that gets the next person. Use those relationships to help you connect with the right people. Now, Packouts is a unique business because, as you mentioned, 80% of your business is insurance. You get a lot of third-party administrator work, insurance work, and which is wonderful because a few relationships can give you a lot of business, right? Maybe give us an idea, like how many insurance companies are you working with right now?
As far as they giving me the business, or as far as how
Yeah.
many open claims I have, what do you mean?
Yeah. As far as how many insurance adjusters that you work with, are there 10 people that give you all.
No, I don't get a lot of work with insurance companies. What everybody have to understand, as nice as they try to be, or as important um, task that they have, they mostly care about their money. And the insurance adjuster job is to adjust the claim, make sure everything is being done, that they want to pay as little as possible. So, I mean, we have, thanks to corporate, we have a couple of companies that, and maybe I think one or two third-party administrators that we have relationship with. One example is the AAA in California. AAA are pretty strong. So every job the AAA have that need packouts, they contact me or whoever owner is in the area. So we get some work from them. I have several open claims with AAA, and they usually, the advantage is once they give you the claim, they, are, they know your pricing, they approve the pricing, they pay you right away. So they usually pay me within a week or two, versus the normal pay is 2 to 3 months. So
Mm.
when you have an account, so they want a AAA, and then we used to work with Maker. I think it's an on and off. I think corporate still talking to them. Again, I'm trying. I'm not cheap. I charge high. I pay high rent. And just to give an example, my total rent for my two buildings a month is 33,000. I pay 33,000 a month in rent. You can imagine what I need to gross in storage for that. So I need to charge for my vaults and my storage fees something that will be uh, what will be accounting for my cost. And then some of them doesn't agree. They would like to go with the cheaper. But once they work with my organization and they know that we always keep everything nice and clean and in place, we always have photos that we can send. We have reports. We have everything is documented. We are organized, and that's priceless. So the best way, the best job you do, give you, give you a better networking and better record of those people who want to go back, come back and work with you in the next claim, especially insurance adjusters. They know that there are not going to be any issues. And if there is an issue, it will be resolved right away. I
Hmm.
mean, that's my mentality, and that's how I work.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. I'd love to jump into your team, the people that are running your business. Give us an idea of what you're, we talked about potentially working with some family members, your daughter at some point, potentially in marketing. Like there's yourself and who else runs this business with you?
It's myself. I have an office manager slash a collection manager slash storage manager, customer service. She's doing everything for me. She's amazing. I have the best office manager that you can find, and that's a story by itself. I have another a field manager that is a field manager, but is always on all the important jobs. You know how to treat clients, you know how to respect clients, and I have to both of them. I trained them originally back in the days, and they after they had some other experiences, they came back connected with me, and now they're running my business with me. And other than obviously, I have some employees who running the crews and the team and the warehouse. I only have total of, you have to think, obviously some of them are full-time, some of them are temporary. Depends if we're busy or not. But I probably only have, let me think, 7, 8, maybe only 10 employees total. And those 10 employees is all I need to do the volume and to do what I need to do. Sure that I take care of them so they can take care of the business.
So office manager, and she's a killer.
Yeah.
Like sounds like she's just awesome. You keep raving about her. So you've got to,
Yes. Yes, she
that's
deserves
a
it.
reminder to every business owner.
Yeah.
You can't go alone. You have to have a team to be successful, especially to build a business of scale. And people are everything. Getting the right people is everything. Treating your people correctly helps you get the right people. And so it sounds like you've done that. You have a field manager. You have a lot of part-time laborers that do the moving, right? Who does your marketing, advertising, sales kind of work, and then who does your bookkeeping, accounting work, billing?
So that's the thing. That's the one thing that I just told my wife last week, that this is something that I need to I don't know if the word improve is the right word, because I'm doing pretty well, but I know that I'm lacking on that. My daughter is actually supposed to come for a meeting today. She wants to be involved in that. And before that, I was the one that was always reaching out to new clients and new accounts. I had somebody that used to work for 1-800 Packard's corporate. He was let go. he reached out to me and he was doing some of my marketing for a while. It didn't work very well, so I understood why he was let go. But I had to try that for myself. But you need somebody that his entire job description will be to get new accounts.
Mm,
Get new accounts and to follow on the existing accounts all the time. I do that when I have time, but sometimes when you get one account and two and three and 10, then they give you work and you have to complete the work, build the, deal with the billing, deal with the store, deal with the collection and all that stuff. Sometimes you forget to get new accounts. So it's a getting new accounts and maintaining the existing accounts is a job description under marketing and account manager. That this is something that I'm looking for. I'm also looking for AI. And one of my other sons is dealing with a new business with AI, and I'm looking to get that into the business in spreading my name. And because they keep asking me, what do you need with AI? What can we do for your business? And my answer is, I think marketing, new accounts, reaching out to contractors, mitigation companies, plumbers. I need them to know that every time there's a pack out, there's
mm.
anything that needs pack out, packing, storage, cleaning, my name need to be there. And maybe AI can help me with that.
You know, as you were talking about this position, marketing and advertising, and your daughter potentially filling this role, you just reminded me of every business owner. You know, you're the visionary, but you also have to be the implementer.
Right.
You got to be willing to see where you can go. At the same time, at the very beginning, you have to be willing to actually get it all done. Like get it. You've been doing sales for a long time, right?
Right.
But as you scale organization, you're gonna just find these bottlenecks that pop up because you're not gonna have enough time to fill in all those roles. So understanding what the business looks like, this is helpful for I think any of our listeners as they're growing their company. Understanding what the business looks like 2 or 3 years down the road helps you see the positions you need to fill. So you can start using your network and thinking through who's going to fill those roles at the right time and then take care of that bottleneck. Because that then levels you up. In order for you to get to a business of the scale and size that you want to build, you need all those position fills. I call it aces in their places. You want to make sure you've got the right people in the right places. It sounds like you've got the right office manager, the right field manager. Now you need a salesperson, or business development person.
Right.
Who does your accounting for you? Your billing.
The office manager.
Okay, so she's that craft.
Yeah,
She's
I do some of it because I need to be on top of my numbers.
yeah,
But she's helping when you say accounting, it's a combination of collection and deposits and writing it down all the numbers and you have to be so she does all that for me, but I'm keeping my numbers. I'm keeping the connection between the QuickBooks and the bank and the the Microsoft Excel sheets and all that, make sure that everything's in place. So I
yeah,
oversee that to make sure everything is correct.
yeah. That's awesome. So for our listeners who are watching live right now, if any of you do have questions, there is a chat you can click on, and there's a live chat at any point in time. Feel free to ask any questions of me or Ayal, and we'll make sure we get to those during the remaining part of our conversation here. Um, I just want to double click on this numbers piece, and you mentioned how you do some of it. Your office manager does the billing and the bookkeeping and so forth. I just can't stress how critical it is for any franchisee or franchisor to know their numbers cold. You've got to know your numbers cold, where all your costs are. Manage those things closely. The difference, small movements in cost of goods sold can have a doubling or tripling effect of your profit margins down below. If you manage your business correctly. You mentioned that you're achieving a 40% net margin. That is very, very healthy. And I'm sure there are people in the contents business that are doing 10% net margins. It's how you manage a business, and the only way you can, the things that are managed can get improved, and if you don't watch it, you can't improve it. So I just would stress to all of you and all of our listeners: know your numbers, watch them close, and manage the business accordingly. Ayal, where does this business go? What's your vision for your location? How big is it going to get for you?
It's a combination. I mentioned to you earlier, I'm 60 this year. So I have still a lot of gas in my tank, and I feel excited about working several more years. But in my 6 years of experience, at least 30 of them as a business owner, I know that there's a wave or there's a ball that's rolling, and sometimes you're on top, and sometimes you're on the side or you're on under, and you have to be very aware of, the economy, the business environment, the conditions, and you have to be very careful. I've been through that before, where if at some point you become comfortable and you have so many employees and so many trucks and so much insurance and rent and all your expenses, and suddenly the business is getting slower or going a little bit under. If you're not right away, if you're not there right away to make adjustments, you can lose everything right away. You can get into debt. You cannot, if you're not aware of your credit card balances, of your loans, of your net margin and everything, all those numbers, if you're not aware of it, before you know it, take 1 year to lose a business or to become too much in debt that you have to either shut the doors or think about, you know, other thing. Now, I was just dealing this week with, I don't know, I made a stupid mistake. I went online, I wanted the business line, business credit line. So I have an opportunity to spend more, to do things if I need to add on or to open something or to whatever, and I reached out online and made a kind of like a request, and I had bombarded by 100 people all the time, every day, text messages until I block everybody. But they gave me some numbers. I chose three of them. They gave me numbers. In fact, I was just texting with somebody this morning, and he said, "Hey, no problem. We give you 100,000, and you have to pay 103 in a month." And I'm thinking, so he said, "What?" And I said, told him it's a repo. And he said, "How come it's a repo? It's the best. It's a great deal." I said, "Either you don't know what you're doing, or you're just trying to cheat me, because if you pay almost 4% in 1 month,
Mm,
and you multiply that by 12 months, 12 times 4, like 48%.
yeah.
It's a complete ripoff. So I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not gonna take anything from you. A correct loan, and my business loan is somewhere between 7 and 10% annually. This
Mm,
is the basic knowledge. If you don't know those numbers, you use credit cards, you take loans, whatever. Before you know it, you're gonna go under just by paying interest and not able to pay back your loan. So when I did my business plan when I started, I took an SBA loan. I'm pretty comfortable with it, even though SBA loans are always. It's not like what's the word for it when the interest change. It's not
mm.
a set. It's
It's a
it's
floating rate.
right. So it is high right now. It's 11%. I'm paying, and then my business pays 3,500 a month. This loan I took 250, even though I was offered 1 million. But if you have to be very thin, very very aware of, and very um, moderate with your
You should be
numbers.
prudent.
Yeah,
It's a reminder, if you want to build a big business, businesses require capital, right? You have a lot of, as you mentioned, the packouts business is a lot of accounts receivable. There's some people that pay AAA pays within a week. Other clients are paying 3 or 4 months.
6 months
So
even.
6 months. So as you're growing, your balance sheet's growing on your AR, and you still have to pay for the costs associated with the business, the storage, your employees, and so forth. So you have to be prudent and be wise, making sure that you have the capital necessary to achieve the growth you want. And sometimes too fast can be very challenging, right? And so that's a reminder that be thoughtful about that. Uh, Frank, who's one of our listeners, just had a question for you, Ayal. He wants to know, how many territories do you have, and how many territories would you want to grow to?
I only have one territory. I work many times out of my territory because it's allowed, because I follow my lead, meaning I work with people that have claims out of my territory. If it's my account, the
Mm,
corporate allow you. The term is follow your lead, meaning if it's somebody I regularly work with and you have a claim or a packard needed out of my territory and he wants me to do it because he knows me, I can do that. So I only have one territory. I mean, the only logic in my mind to have a second territory, if you're going to go to another city. If you're going to go to
hmm.
another city or another state, then definitely, then you can double the business. You have another one, but you have to make sure that you know what you're doing, and you have to have a good manager that will run
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, that's great. That is a nice part of this business. Packouts is very much about relationships, right? It's those key people that drive your business and those key relationships that drive your business. That's a great reminder for us. We're coming close to the close of our time together. I want to make sure I ask a few of the questions for you that I like to ask everyone, frankly. Uh, it's been 2 years. If you could go back 2 years to the beginning of you starting the business, what advice would you give to yourself or anyone else getting started in this business?
Well, first of all, I would advise anybody that considering either pack outs or any kind of opening the right franchise business for him. Listen, the first advice: be your own boss, be business owner. If you can, go with that. So be your own boss, be a business owner, and then you take your destiny and your future in your own hands. You don't have to listen to anybody. You don't have to to work for somebody else. And and in my experience, and I'm very very passionate about that, because even if you have a partner, sometimes that's not the right thing, because then you have to always answer to someone. In my experience, it went bad. So again, I hear a lot of stories like that. If you like partners, or that's the right thing for you, fine. But my first advice: be your own boss, own a business. Second advice: do something that you're gonna like doing. I love what I do. I just
Mm-hmm.
love it. This is the right thing for me. My daughter is coming to possibly work with me. It's possibly that it's not for her. And if she's not gonna love it, I will tell her, go do whatever you like to do. But you still have to be responsible. You have to be serious. You have to be, um, you have to understand that at the end of the day, if you want a great future, you have to do something that will give you great income.
Mm-hmm.
No, the life is built from income and time. The most you can do with your time and money is the life that you're going to live for yourself, for you and your family. So, find something that you can do, something that you're going to like doing, a combination, you're going to like it and you're going to be good at it. Make sure that the numbers are there. If you like to sell flowers, if the numbers are in the flowers, fine. Each business have problems, and each business have some issues and have some ups and downs. Or it could be a seasonal, or it could be suddenly there's no rain and there's no flowers. Whatever it is, you have to
Mm-hmm.
do your math. But my my best advice is manage your time, find something that you like doing, check the numbers, and get it going. Just do the best that you can.
That's great advice, and it's a reminder. I mean, being your own boss, taking control of your destiny is something that's always resonated with me. And I've thought often about, choose your hard. Life's going to be hard. Business is hard. Working for someone's hard. You get to just choose the hard you want. And this packouts, you've turned packouts in your area into a success story. So congratulations, Ayal, for what you've done. And thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with our listeners. I look forward to seeing you at Home Services Summit on November 6th in person. And thank you for your time. And thank you everyone else for listening.
Thank you for having me, Scott. It was a pleasure.